Hello viewers, good evening. Today we will have a conversation with Chef Charles Caroll, the past president of the World Association of Chef Societies and is an executive chef of a leading BBIP club. Before we invite him, before we start. Good evening. Today we will have a conversation with Chef Charles Caroll, the past president of the World Association of. So before we invite Chef Charles Caroll, I'll go into a small quiz so that we can get all the audience together. So my first question will be, following the fish, you have to take the odd man out from this. Salmon, eel, watercress, pomfret, none of the above. Please take the odd man out. Please think it over and take that answer and you can put it in the box. Following are the natural dry fruit. Following are the natural dry fruits, fruity, prunes, pine nuts, dates, none of the above. What is your answer? The next question is, following are the pasta, risotto, penne, fusilli, farfalle, none of the above. What is your answer? Following are the spices. What are the one which is not spice or all of them are spice? Cinnamon, bay leaf, basil and clove, or none of the above. Following are the pork products, black pudding, gammon, salami, venison, none of the above. Following, match the following. Okay, now we have clocked 7:30. I think let us now invite Chef Charles Caroll. Chef Charles Caroll.
Hello, Chef. How are you today?
Welcome, Chef Charles Caroll. Chef, welcome.
Nice to be with you, Chef.
I am Chef Soundarajan in conversation with Chef Charles Caroll, and I am the founder general secretary of the Indian Federation of Culinary Associations and also the director of the Culinary Vision Private Limited and a honorary member of the World Chefs. So let me introduce Chef Charles Caroll to you. He's an award-winning author, inspirational speaker and producer and culinary Olympic gold medalist and the executive chef of the BBIP Club, Riverwoods Country Club in Houston, Texas. Chef Caroll takes pride in mentoring students. That is why he is there today and he has written so many books. He has spent the past 3 years traveling around the world and also teaching, learning both together. And I tell you, he has been awarded a special award from the Johnson Wales University, and also he is the ambassador of the Culinary Institute of America. Welcome, Chef Charles Caroll.
Thank you, Chef. It's great to be here.
Chef Charles Caroll, you can say hi before we proceed to, I'll have a small talk, then maybe I can put you through some questions, then we can start our conversation. You can say hi and your experience of coming to India.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always a pleasure, Chef, to be involved in anything that you're involved in because you yourself as a professional and in India have been really one of the leaders in the world in Chefs Association. So you guys are a first class act, and my wife and I were fortunate to come there, I think 2 or maybe 3 times, 2 times. And not only is the education and the format and the production that you do first class, but the hospitality and the food and just the general overall excitement of all the culinarians that are there is just spectacular. So I'm proud to be on this show with you today.
Thank you. Okay, friends, the world is going through a very tough time due to the pandemic. Our industry is also affected. Worldwide, every one of us is affected, but not defeated. And we have to come out successful. That's very important. But if you see learning and development, particularly young chefs, student chefs, there will be definitely a paradigm shift. See, culinary management is no exception from all other industry. There will be a paradigm shift, and we need to come to terms with the new normal. Smart and digital will rule the, at least for some time to come. But I tell you, you cannot take everything on digital and virtual. I tell you, we can take learning, I mean, culinary learning and development into three facets. I'll divide. The first one is digital and virtual. I'm sure how I sit in front of the screen and talk to you, this is more or less a virtual and digital. Then the second one is you need to touch the food, you need to feel the food. So the practical setup of a mini kitchen with basic gadgets is very, very important. What I suggest is you set up a small kitchen around you. I'm sure where you live, your family will welcome. I'm sure every technique, the young chefs, I'm talking about the young chef, the basic techniques you can learn. I'm telling you, just digital, virtual, can good for gaining knowledge, good for a theoretical knowledge, and have something, a roadmap or a recipe for the practical techniques. But it cannot only be that, because people will have to taste food. People will eat food. Good food is required. I would like to recall one of the saying of Sir August Escoffer, the past president of World Chefs, that the great food, good food, will bring happiness in the minds of people. So it's very important to produce good food. For that, learning and development is important. Okay, I'll just go to Chef Charles Caroll. Chef, culinary learning and development across various areas will go through a major change. What do you think?
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. You mentioned paradigm shifts and the whole world. And isn't it interesting that this pandemic has affected every single person in the world, whether you're a student or a professional athlete or someone in our industry. So it has forced the world to do a reset. And what's that mean for all of us? And there will be those that sit on the sidelines and cry and say, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. And this is devastating, which it is devastating. And then there's going to be another group that's going to come out of this, that's going to fly out of this pandemic and be better off than they ever been before. And I think that this reset has been, this world reset has been an eye-opener for us to take care of our world, our countries better. They take care of the air better, take care of the education better, take care of our plants and animals better. So with that, as far as our industry is concerned, what does that mean for us? I mean, for us to be sitting here, Chef, doing this video, this virtual communication is a tool, is a great example of that. In fact, I think Zoom, the stock for Zoom has gone up 70%. So virtual communication is the way of the future. It's not going away. And in fact, it's going to be stronger than ever. And I think that you'll also see that people working from home is no longer just an idea. There'll be more individuals making a case for them to be able to do their work at home. And so what does that mean for culinary? What does that mean for hospitality? That's yet to be seen, but I think those that are thinking that direction, the virtual communications are going to be the ones that are going to come out of the gate the quickest. There are some examples of that already. And I think that for the young people out there, if you could be thinking that way, and how can we make the world better? How can we make hospitality more virtual? Just like you were talking about, Chef. I have some ideas as well. How the schools are going to react to that. Those are the ones that are going to flourish. So now's not the time to sit on our hands and sit at home and say, oh, well, now's the time to think, what can I do to make a difference? In the entrepreneur world, Chef, and everybody listening, in the entrepreneurial world, you have to fall in love with the problem, right? So instead of crying about the challenges and issues, challenges and issues are opportunities. So if you fall in love with those challenges, fall in love with those problems, you're going to come flying out of that. And I think that's what you're talking about with communications and hospitality.
Okay, chef, I feel it's doesn't matter there is a pandemic or no pandemic. I think young chefs should come out, learn strong culinary techniques, should have a strong culinary technique foundation.
Mhm.
They should also develop an inclination towards food presentation techniques. They should develop menu knowledge. There are so many books are available. I can come out with another audio where the books. Then they have to have all these basic and advanced techniques to have a confidence to present culinary art. Then there is also they have can develop with so many tools available to develop culinary leadership qualities, and of course production management. Production management is all you can talk about, learning the various ingredients and food cost, everything you can learn. Then of course you need to have a proficiency in classic and contemporary culinary techniques and knowledge in international techniques. I think chef, what do you think young chefs should need to know now, need to do immediately now?
The young chefs?
That's right.
Well, I think you just mentioned a lot of that, right? So if you're sitting home, everything is online, right? Everything is online. You can get, if you want to cook salmon tonight, Google salmon. If you want to cook eel tonight, you mentioned eel before, Google eel, Google pasta, Google whatever, and go ahead and start that. So there's that. There's that. Don't sit on your hands. Now's the time to sharpen your tools. The other thing that you mentioned about Thomas quoting "food makes people happy," and the online. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Julia about Julia Child. If you guys can go, on Netflix or whatever, go for young chefs. Julia Child is one of the most amazing women in our time that was on TV and really brought cooking to a whole nother TV level, right? Of our first celebrity chef, if you will. Go watch that movie, because beside her story was another Julia who was blogging, and it's just like you said, chef. She looked up a recipe and she decided to cook it, and then she wrote about it. And because she did that, every night she cooked a new recipe. She made her husband happy, and she went through some challenges, but she every night she cooked a new dish. And because of that, there was a movie written about this woman. So you can Google a recipe and then sharpen your tools. I would say that. Second of all, chef, I would heavily recommend that any young chef out there to think about what it is you want to do, right? Do you want to go into pastry? Do you want to go into catering? Do you want to be a baker? Do you want to be in private country clubs like I am? I've been at this club now for 20 years. And I didn't, and when I was a student, I didn't even know that clubs were a thing. Do you want to be in hotels or freestanding restaurants, or do you want to own a food truck? Figure it out what it is, have an idea about what it is you think you want to do, and then Google and then search and find the best expert in your area that does that, and go beg them for a job. And now's the time to chew off the end of the table, to do whatever it takes to be successful, and work hard. So do some homework. You got every single tool that you need is in this thing. So do your work, and find that person is doing that is very, very successful in what it is you want to do, and just keep begging him or her for a job until you get it, and then work your tail off. Earn their trust. So you mentioned there's possibly 2 or 3 different ways that education can go, and I think that's one of them, right? Go get mentored by somebody and work your tail off. This is if you were to do that for 3 to 5 years, right, with an expert, with a master, you will get all the tools that you need to be successful. So that's one. The next thing is apprenticeship, which is more of a structured environment. It's almost like a school within a resort, or a school within a hotel, or a school within a block of hotels. I think, chef, and I'm not a scientist, or I'm not in the out in the world as much, but it seems to me that I think apprenticeship is going to start making a comeback because the structures of schools are changing now, right? So I think that's the second option is apprenticeships, and for the older chefs out there, maybe now's the time you start up apprenticeship within your property, and then you can work with the schools to get the couple of classes that they need. And then the third is the virtual communication or the online learning. Again, we talked about not sitting on your hands now. What can you do to go above and beyond? What can you do there's going to be a lot of millionaires that come out of this pandemic, right? There's going to be some people that are going to, lose some money, but I think there's going to be a lot more people that come out of this as millionaires because they're falling in love with the problem. So the virtual communication, the virtual education, there's a few properties out there that do really well in it. And I think the Escoffier School of Culinary Arts, there's two properties in America. That's an example of probably I think they're ahead of the curve when it comes to online education. That's a possibility. You can do that in your home. It's the same thing that you were talking about, Chef, with setting yourself up with a little kitchen and getting. So I think for the older chefs out there, or should I say the seasoned chefs, that there's an opportunity to, what are we going to do to teach today's generation in this new environment? And I think that's a great way.
Chef, there is one question is in everybody's mind. See, it is totally opposite to what I spoke to a week back. You said this pandemic, now the business has doubled. That means more job opportunities. There is one doubt in the minds of young chefs. What will happen to this food industry? Do I continue or I don't continue? What is the future?
Well, yeah. By the way, yesterday was my birthday, and my family.
Belated happy birthday, Chef.
Thank you. And my family and I we went out to dinner, and I think that's the first time we all went out to dinner. And I just sent a note to the owner of the restaurant and told him what a great job they did. And here's a great example of going into a restaurant and feeling safe, right? And so it's the restaurateurs and the hospitality people that are not falling on their knees. They're saying, what can I do to create the best environment with what we have to work with right now? You walked in there, people had gloves and masks on. There are people constantly throughout the night wiping handles, door handles and bathroom handles and chairs and tables. So there's a visual of safety at all times. They had sanitation stations in all the corners of the restaurant where you can get some sanitizer if you felt you needed to. The menus were well written. They were downsized, right? This particular restaurant used to have a 3-page menu, so they downsized to 1 page, but the items that they had on that page were fantastic. So what did they? They had to change their business plan a little bit so they could produce the same quality of food, but with less of a staff because their business plan has changed now. They're not getting as many people through the door, so they have to adjust. So those are just some examples of what this particular restaurant did. I think, Chef, and again, I'm not a visionary and I'm not on any corporate boards or anything like that, but I think that the restaurants that are able to think outside the box and come out with unique packaging, unique food to go, so that it shows the safety. Our industry is like the medical field, right? We have more attention to detail when it comes to sanitation and nutrition and food safety than any other association, really. Like plumbers and carpenters, they don't have to worry about sanitation so much. We do. Lives depend on it. So we're already there. We just have to rethink of how I can do my menu maybe a little bit smaller, more creative, labeling and packaging of products that shows safety. There's labels on it. This was packed in a sterile environment. Really cool packaging, like a Starbucks, if you will. So that's the way of the future, to be able to do the food in the restaurant like you ought to, but like you used to, but also have a very unique to-go program and those kinds of things. So I don't have the answers, but I do know thinking outside the box and what is the next thing going to be, those are the ones that are going to be amazingly successful.
Chef, do you think you have redefined your own operations? I know that you used to have a lot of buffet. Is the buffet is supposed to go off, or it will stay for some time to come?
I don't think it's going to go away. It's away right now. It's not present right now. Chef, I'm in a country club that has 1,700 members, and we are now open. All the facilities are open, but with all the limitations. So the dining rooms are at 50% occupancy. We are probably one of the most virtual country clubs in the United States. Again, you're going to hear that word a lot now, right? Virtual. And so much so that I created a company called My Company Radio, and it's the virtual communication system, team building communication system and enterprise podcasting that we can do privately or publicly for companies, oil companies, hospitality, and mostly associations right now. But anyway, those times have changed, and so what we had to try to do, because the members pay a lot of money to be a member here, right? So every department, whether it be fitness, beverage, and wine, cooking, everything is now brought to the members virtual through the internet. So we're doing cooking demonstrations, we're making kits and recipes and videos, and now the members can pick up that kit to go, they can watch the video, and they can cook at home, just like you were talking about. So we do those kinds of things. We send out recipes and challenges and children's kits as well, so that because the parents and the kids are home together, right? So, and the kids are a little bit crazy because they're inside all the time. So we're trying to create a bond between the parent and the child, and they can cook together. So we put together those kind of kits. We have every kind of to-go food you can think of, whether it's fine dining, restaurant, casual, and then we also have family food, family style food to go. So every department in our golf lessons, fitness, all of that has been done virtual now to send to the members. But so now we're slowly opening back up, and again, it's about not sitting on your hands and recreating yourself. So those are the, I would encourage. This is a difficult time. It's a sad time, and especially for the families who may have lost a loved one or have gotten sick. And now in America, some of the rioting that's going on, it's a tough time right now. But it's not a time to sit on your hands and feel sorry for yourself or the people around you. Now's the time to get excited and figure out what you can do to be creative and come out of this.
I know you are caught in between a very tight schedule in the morning. I caught you in the morning. I'm sure the morning you are very busy time, but I'm sure I won't take you more than half an hour as I promised. One thing I have, what is the status of culinary education in US now? They are all closed like any other school or college, or it is, how is the education system working in, say, CIA? You're also an ambassador of Culinary Institute of America, and also Johnson Wales, you got an award. What is their status now, as of now?
I was just talking to a buddy of mine, a professor at Johnson Wales the other day. They are actually combining. They're putting up a board together with 3 or 4 other universities in Boston, and they're trying to. It's kind of a power mastermind roundtable, if you will. They're trying to decide what's the future for their areas and what they can do to make their campuses safe. So that's still out to they're still thinking about what that next step is going to be for them. I think that I think the schools will open back up again. A lot of culinary schools have closed, just to be honest. I was going to rewrite my a second edition of Leadership Lessons from a Chef, Finding Time to Be Great, that book. And the publisher said, we'd love to do another book with you, but we don't want to do it towards education or education facilities. And I was shocked. And I almost fell off the chair, and I was depressed about it, because I'm thinking, oh my God, what's that mean for the future of our people, our young people? And that's why I think that the apprenticeship is going to be more and more important. And people like you, Chef, that are able to do some virtual classes to help people get the basics they need to get out in industry. So there'll be some schools that survive and they'll get through it. The strong ones. Culinary Institute of America is a powerhouse. Johnson and Wales is amazing. And the Escoffier School of Culinary Arts I mentioned, they're all great schools. They will do fine. But it's the ones that think outside the box and start that next wave of education. I think that's what's going to. I think the people that come out with what can I do to help our young people get the basics they need to at least get their foot in the door. They don't have to be a master chef. They don't have to be a sous chef. They don't be any of that. But what skills can we get them to prepare them to ask for a job? I think that's a great system that the people coming out of the gate with that's going to win.
I have listened to some of your podcast, very interesting. I'm sure, tell us about that podcast. How can it help the young chefs? It's very interesting.
Thank you. I have 4 different shows, but it's called the Recipe Podcast Celebrity Secrets. So I appreciate y'all going on there and subscribe, and then you'll get those shows in your phone automatically. The last 4 shows we did were to help chefs in our hospitality field and get on their feet again and how to handle the pandemic. But it is the Recipe Podcast Celebrity Secrets. So search that anywhere on your podcast engines. But I think what you might be talking about, Chef, is the company I started last year and we went full bore this year. And it's called mycompanyradio.com. And it's virtual communication. And why I'm excited about this is because of virtual, right? So
that's right.
So we're helping hospitality, restaurants, private clubs, oil companies, distributors that have 4,000 employees and they're in 17 states, but also a lot of associations that are losing their conferences, congresses, their meetings because they can't meet right now. So this system, the enterprise podcast system, we're able to produce these shows for our clients and send it to directly to their audience. And not only that, but especially in associations, it's providing a whole new revenue stream for them. Sponsors are no longer doing their trade shows. They can't do the trade shows. They can't do the sales booths. Sales aren't what they used to. They don't know what to do how can I successfully get in front of my clients? They're not quite sure how to do that. So this tool, again, that those shows come in on over the phone, is a perfect way to get in front of all of your audience and get reconnected and be top of mind with your members, your membership, or your employees, at the same time creating a whole new revenue stream for your organization. So I'm really proud of it. And in fact, is it okay I give away a gift, an educational ebook? Is that okay, Chef?
Please.
Yes. So if, because it's your show, I put together an ebook for everybody. So it's ebook.mycompanyradio.com. That's ebook.mycompanyradio.com. And there's a 7 or 8 page report on virtual communication and how it affects you and how you can fit it to your organization, your company, your club, your property, and so on. So I've done a lot of work on it. As you know, I've been working on it for about 3 years, and ironically, it's really getting busy now during this time.
Chef, I want to ask you, I think we are getting nearer to the closing of the event. You have won about 100 medals. Most of them are gold medals in the world's topmost culinary competition, the Culinary Olympics. You have trained the military culinary team and you have trained. Tell me, for young chefs, what are the 3 things you will tell them for them to make a big career?
Well, I think I mentioned 1 or 2 of them already. First, think about in your heart, right? What is it you want to do? What is it you really, really want to do? And so if you can start thinking about that right now, as opposed to going to a culinary school and just going through all the classes, and then when you graduate, hope you get a good job somewhere. That's the biggest mistake I think. It's okay to change your mind, but if you can at least think about, I think I like pastry, or I think I want to be in private clubs, or I think I want to own my restaurant, or I think I want to own a food truck. Try to start there. So I would say that, try to figure that out. And then again, number 2 would be find the best person in your area that knows how to do it. And number 3, beg them for the job. And so those are the first 3 steps. But then I don't want to swear here, but work your butt off. Don't get caught up in sitting on in the couch and being at home and playing on your phone or video games or anything like that. Work your butt off now, because that is like an investment. That's like you taking $10 and putting it in the bank and having it make a little bit of money because it's making interest. If you work your butt off right now and you work hard and you decide that I'm going to go work for this master chef over here, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be successful for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. I'm going to study hard and work hard for this person. You will get that back tenfold. So it doesn't come in a 40-hour work week. It doesn't come from sitting on the couch playing on your phone. It doesn't come because you read a book and you wish it to happen. It doesn't work that way. I'm 56 years old yesterday, and I have never worked so hard in all my life. You know, I'm working till midnight, many nights till midnight, working on new projects. So work hard and good things will happen.
Okay, Chef, thank you very much. I think with great difficulty, you have taken time out and to share your thoughts. I'm sure all young chefs will benefit from all this half an hour interview. I'm sure. Thank you very much. I'm sure we will meet some other time again to clarify some more doubts. Thank you very much, Chef. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chef, and thank you for all that you do.